Hey, Pearl, how are you today? Hey, and here's Minnie. Look at the pretty flowers I just planted. What? Oh, you're right. I almost forgot. Another day of SoulCARE.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to SoulCARE on this day, September 19th, 2022. I do remember the date because today's the funeral of the Queen, so I know everyone's mesmerized with that. We'll talk about that in a second. And I was just, as we're watching that opening there with the Minnie and Pearl, I was like, wow, I wished it was that easy because I just spent the weekend with them. And I wish I had gardens anymore, but they love to take things out of the garden and eat the flowers and eat everything. So I'm in total puppy world. And I brought them to a puppy park today, yesterday and the day before to tucker them out. And it's interesting having these puppies that are really big puppies, but they're lovely. And Pearl ended up, I have a little waterfall. Well, it's big enough that she can go in. She hasn't been in water yet, and I have a pool, and I was swimming, and I was come up and play with her. And she doesn't want to go in the pool, but yet she loves the water. She's fascinated, and Minnie is too. Minnie's a Pisces as well, and she's interested as well, but they're not sure yet. She'll be in the puppy phase, but I know that Minnie, Pearl really wants to go swimming. I can just tell. So I can't wait to bring her to the beach here in San Diego because we have Doggy Beach here, and I can't wait to have that experience with them. It's fun. But yesterday I was running around with them, and then I think I was putting something away that they took out, and I turned my back for a second, and I walked in my backyard, and there's a little pond thing there with a waterfall, small, and there was Pearl coming out of it. She'd fallen in, so I wish I had a picture of that. But so it's a lot of fun, but a lot of work, I will say that, and so they're great. But I put them in doggy daycare for the day, so they can get exhausted running around and meet other doggies, so they're socializing. So how's everyone been? How's been your weekend and your week? Let's say hello to people here. Charlene, hi. Massachusetts. Shirley, Chicago. Hi, Bonnie. Scott Huff, how you doing, Scott? I have a pool for my doggies, but they haven't got in yet. So I do have a little doggy pool, kiddie pool. I have one. So I've getting them used to adapt to water, and it'll work out. It's all one day at a time type of thing. Hi, Carolyn Bradbury from England. Yes, hello, very good. Hello, Rosemary from Australia. Mandy and Margaret. Taiwan. Wow, Bruce. Nice to meet you, Bruce. I just really have water in my ear. Shower. So I guess everyone's been watching the Queen. It's amazing. 70 years. She was in the really reigning 70 years, and pretty amazing. I think she was done. She's over. She was a Taurus sun with Capricorn rising and the Leo moon, and her and I would get along really well because I am a Virgo with Capricorn rising and a sun and a moon in Sagittarius. So we definitely complement each other, understand each other. But I get the sense that when she was done, and that's very interesting. And I think so many things happen without the public knowing things. It's behind those closed gates. But it's fascinating to watch the ceremony and watch the procession because I found it fascinating that all the Commonwealth were represented with their armed forces. It was just pretty amazing to see that. And we'll never see it again. I mean, it's the first and only time I think we'll ever see that. So it's pretty interesting. And very historical moment. So I just check in with you guys. I just finished doing a lovely reading from my cards, so that'll be up soon for the week with my Soul Journey cards. So I'm going to be doing that. And tonight on my Both Sides Now Beyond, I'm going to have another guest because Kelly's taking a break. And there was Australian medium Janelle Campbell. My good friend Janelle will be on the show tonight. A heck of a lot of fun. A lovely medium. Really, really just great fun. And she's been a friend of mine for a while. We met as a student. She was a student of mine. And we just got along famously. At one point, I think we're in Ireland, and I was teaching, and she was taking a class there with me. And I said to her, "You're like you have a truck driver mouth." She goes, "What's that?" And we just go along perfectly. And we've done a lot of trips around the world together. She's a really great medium. She's on my website, and a lot of fun and really down to earth. So tonight we're going to talk about the art of mediumship, and really I want to talk about how, because every medium is different, but how she works and different perspectives, if you will, of speaking to spirit, different questions. We'll ask you guys what you want to hear about. If you want to hear about what the other side is like, what it's like to be a medium, how she works, how I work. We're going to cover mediumship, the art of mediumship. So that'll be tonight, 6 o'clock, and it'll be fun. Cheryl, you're thinking of buying my card before, Cheryl. Great. Okay, you're welcome to. There's your validation. So whenever it's so funny, this weekend I had certain things come up about the weirdest things. Like someone's talking about Austria, and then an hour later, someone else was talking about Austria. And it was just so strange. I had three of those different things. When those things happen in succession like that, you have to start paying attention to different things. I think those happen all day long, but the more you start paying attention, you'll notice that they happen, these signs. Like just like you start with the cards and you're going to buy them. So, questions you might have, friends. We're going to put some questions up. If you have a question, you can ask me. Thank you, Rhonda from Orlando. Appreciate that. And while we're looking at some questions, I want to let you know that this week is call number 1 for my healing certification course. I'm very excited about that. I'm working really, really hard to get this together. So this is Wednesday at 4 o'clock, the 21st. And I have notes here to read because I want to remember everything, and I usually won't. So it's Wednesday, 21st, 4 o'clock p.m., call number 1. And there is, Renee has a link there that you can use that go to it. And you can also go to my school page and sign up. But what is the course about? Well, it's about healing. So I'm talking about unlocking the healing within. Everybody's a healer within them. Now, what does that mean to me? I was thinking about this earlier today. And of course, everything going on with the Queen and other people that I know have passed over recently. And what's it like to step into that side, that world? And it's really interesting because that beautiful energy, which I think as human beings, we're so limited with our perception of things. But I think within us is that beautiful source of light, that source of energy, divine light. And I think once we use that divine light and we have an intention to use that, and if it could be of service to another person, I think it just amplifies. So this healing course is really created for you to be, number one, become aware of that energy within you. And the energy not only within you, but within the other person or people or things. I also love to use the analogy, and I do this in the healing course, of the sun. The sun is the brightest star in our universe, and the rays of sun touch everyone. No one's different. They're all the same. That ray is the same for every single person, no matter what their background, what their country of origin, what language, it doesn't matter. It's the same. So I think that once we start opening up to that healing energy, that divine source, and the human part gets out of the way, and you really open up to that, we can share that with other people. And I have found in the healing work and in this healing course, we'll talk about blockages and limitations. And for what my experience with healing has been, that when I use the healing energy, when I'm opening up that source energy and providing that service, or sharing that, I should say, with another person, it's so interesting to become aware of what that energy, that source, has to cut right through all those blockages. And in the course, you learn about what those blockages are. So let's say you're pinpointing this light into the person's solar plexus, and I have you in the course go right through the crown chakra down, and you become aware of these levels or layers, if you will, or patterns that this person has within them and around them in their energy field. And a lot of it's emotional. So you see blockages emotional. We also go into when those blockages occurred around the age of 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. So we go and see how long it's been there. It's so interesting how humans create all this stuff. We don't need to, but a lot of it is there. When you start doing healing work, you start to take away, if you will, all the stuff people hold on to. And I think, therapists, medical people, we're all healers in our own way. We're healers. And it's opening yourself up to that divine source and using it to illuminate that person you're working with, not like to heal them. When I say healing, well, to me, it's opening that person up to what motivates them, what's going on with them, and having them remember who they are. So that's really what it's about. That's what I created this course, is for you to help others to remember who they are. It's like I'm helping you to remember that. And I hope that has happened. So I just want to read this a little bit. Unlock your inner healer, empowering you to heal yourself and others. And that's very true too. As you're healing another person, you're using that light for yourself. So it's an extension of that oneness of light. And you'll begin to see, friends, how when you do use that light, how that person, again, the physical, the emotional block, the mental blocks, the physical blocks. You begin to see them, and then you can tell them what you're seeing, feeling, and sensing. So it helps your intuition as well. Um, yes, that's very true. So I'm going to share these tools that you need for practicing the absolute highest form of healing in the universe, spiritual healing, which is again using the healing energy. And it's over 70 in-depth training videos. So I worked my rear end off when I created this course. It's 70 in-depth videos I've done. And this new course, it's like the old one, but we're putting 4 live calls on. And this one's the first live call. And I'm going to do some special stuff there. So you should definitely, if you're interested, sign up if you have not yet, because this Wednesday will be the first live call. And it's different than the other healing course, and then we have 5 live calls. Plus, I've scheduled a Wednesday, October 12th, just for the students of this session of my healing certification course. I'm going to do some live healing work. So that'll be a special thing on, I've never done that before here on Zoom. So it'll be the first time. It's Wednesday, October 12th. And it's just for students of this session. So sign up if you want. And everyone will be touched in some way. I'm going to work with everybody that signs up in that call. So I'll do work with every single person. I've done it before. I've done groups of, in person of 300 people in a matter of an hour. So they work quickly. They work fast. And it's really interesting what comes in, and the remnants of stuff. So be prepared, be prepared. Make sure for sure have paper and pen with you. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit of also of the online courses, what it's about if you are not familiar with it. How to make the most of your innate healing gifts, techniques to release childhood traumas and move on. Very important for all of us. How to read and heal the auric field for yourself and others. I often talk about the Charles Schultz character, Pigpen. Remember Pigpen, all this stuff? Sometimes when I see people walk in, their auras are shattered. And it's really interesting. Now, I noticed today, as I was watching the funeral procession, I was very aware of the colors around Harry and some interesting energy or his auric field. So next time, if you want to go look back and see him, become aware of the field around him, his energy field. I've got a lot of red energy there. I've got a lot of anger with him as well. I got really frustration around him. Very interesting. I'd be curious what you guys think. Understand the chakras and how to balance and charge them up, which is very, very important. It's your electrical system. Special techniques and rituals that invoke instant spiritual healing. And here are the 4 calls I'm going to be doing. So call number 1, which is this Wednesday, the 21st at 4 p.m. We're going to get started with that. The next one is sharing an experience in October. And then on November 16th, measuring your progress. And the last call is finishing strong. So that's December 14th. So please feel free to go online, and there's the information right there. Call number 1 is Wednesday. Okay. Karen Sanders, James, I heard people talking upstairs, and I knew that there's nobody home except me and my animals going up the stairs. Happens every day to me. It's very interesting, isn't it? You feel you're hearing something, but is anyone that I've had many times. It kept getting louder and louder. It got so loud, it was a bunch of people talking like they would be a party or something. I stopped because I felt like I went any further, I was going to be with them, and I froze. No, you would be with them. So that's what your clairaudience would be, very much that way, and it gets very, very strong. So I went back down the steps, and does that mean? No, Karen, you could work if it was somebody there or not, because you could be. It sounds like your clairaudience. So the more you just really, again, we go back to that surrendering part and listening intently, but not too much. Don't overdo it. Don't be too intense. It's kind of a subtlety, but that sounds like clairaudience, especially if there was no one physically there. Yeah. So practice, and again, sit in the silence of your stillness of your being is the best thing to do. Petra. Hi, Petra. Very good. Jane, past 2 weeks were heartbreaking, but your magnificent course talking to him and helped the whole family to accept transition. My stepdad. I channeled many messages. Good, sweetheart. I'm glad to hear that, Petra. I'm sorry about the loss, but those cards are exactly what those cards were created for, was to help you in those times of grief, of losing someone in a physical way. And it's just, they're reminders. They're really reminders that there is no death. There's no death at all. That's the greatest illusion that there is death. It's so funny because the first thing people say when they leave the body is, "Oh gosh, I feel so much better," and there's no death. You can't kill energy. So this is just a meat suit. So thank you. I'm glad to help, Petra. Yes, yeah, and healing certification is still available, but you have to sign up before Wednesday, so you get that first call on Wednesday. And it's so definitely you should do it by Wednesday because after that it's over. So you want to get the 4 calls, and you also want to get that healing week, that night of the healing, because that'll be really interesting for everybody. It's so fascinating because I'll be sitting here and I'll completely talk about whether everyone's different. I might talk about your colors. I might talk about what's needed in your life. I might talk about, they might show me what's limiting in your life. All these different types of things and scenarios. So it'll be really fascinating. I use a pad and a pen, and that is really just to distract me. So to focus. And I use it also when I do readings on Zoom because it's the focal point, if you will. So otherwise, when I used to do Larry King, it was very interesting because I'm so happy I couldn't see the caller because I just had to hear their voice. And that's how a medium can tune in, is to the voice. And that's the way of working. And I must say that I love that. That was a good practice for me. The Larry King show was good practice. And it changing the world in many ways, the consciousness of the planet, and that or opening up to this truth of life after death. Okay. Hi, Janice. Is there reincarnation? How do our spirits visit? There is reincarnation, Janice, but don't think of it as so much limiting as a human would think of it. It doesn't come in a cup like my cup of coffee here. It's beyond that. It's not just this. This soul is so much grander. So and remember, it's in a world where there's no time. There is no time. So a sliver of your soul can be in the 18th century. A sliver of your soul can be back in the 14th century. A sliver of your soul can be in the 25th century. A sliver of your soul can be in other planets and universes. There are millions of galaxies. So definitely reincarnation, if you will, coming back into the physical, reincarnate, yes. If your soul chooses to come back and to learn or teach, you'll do that. And not only here on the earth, but other places and spaces. Okay, thank you. Hi, Kristen Jones. When can we see you in New York area again? That's a great question. When do you want to see me in there? I'm starting to travel actually next year. I was just in New York a little while ago, but we're starting to move things up because I got the puppies. I put things on hold a little bit because I can't be my little puppies and also travel so much. So it'll come up probably next year is going to be time again. But I'm working on some other things too. So we'll see. So we'll see what happens, honey. But don't worry, I'll be there again. Hi, Bonnie. I have taken several James courses and they're all wonderful. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm going to cry. Thank you for saying that. I'm not a great salesperson. I don't like to push my own. I don't like to do that. It sounds kind of wonky. But I got to tell you that, I am the voice for those courses in that school because Spirit told me to do it. And that school, the JP School of Mystical Arts, really is my legacy. I'm going to tell you, I've looked on the internet. I've seen a lot of different places and sites of spiritual teaching, mediumship. The quality isn't there because I think, and I don't mean to, blow my own horn here, but I'm going to say that I really have passion, as you know, about this work. And you'll see tonight with Janelle, if you tune in tonight, there's a passion there for mediumship and the right type of passion because you want to help people and by the highest possible way to serve and for them to find who they are. So that's what it's about. And that school really was based on that. I've always had because of Capricorn rising, that's Capricorn's all about integrity. I've always had a strong sense of integrity. Brian Weiss also, and the Queen, there you go, Capricorn rising. It's all, it's just integrity and responsibility. So I know from the years and years of teaching that you can't just throw things out there to the world and that's it. There's a responsibility to help people the right way. You got to be very, very careful of what you put out in the world. And whether it's words, videos, thoughts, and you've got to take care of people. You've got to really soul care. Here we are, I'm taking care of your souls. I'm helping you. I'm helping you to help yourself. And that's really what it is, helping yourself. So the school's based on that. And thank you very much for that insight, sweetheart. Okay. Hi, Bruce. I often smell my mother's perfume in my living room. Yes. Is that a sign she's trying to make? Yes, very much so, Bruce. They will come through any way they can. So many times they'll come through, and some people, mediumistic, right? Or think of it this way too. We're all souls. They're souls out of the body. We're souls in the body. So what she's doing is she's sending you, and don't ask me how they do it because I don't know, but she'll send you that scent that you have familiarized with your mom. And you can, that's because that's what she's sending you, that smell, that scent. Same with aftershaves. A lot of people smell aftershaves, cigars, cigarettes, a lot of times. So yes, that's her way. So when that happens, Bruce, and not only when it happens, but when it does happen, just close your eyes and breathe and ask her to come close into your mind and just go into that space in between the inhalation and the exhalation and ask her to come close. And what words would you like to put in delicately in your mind? Yeah, because that's how they communicate in your mind. So it's mind to mind communication. And if the human being could be more still, they'd be able to hear. That's really what it's about. Again, I'm using the analogy I love, which is, if you want to hear from the spirit world, it's like putting out your hand in a feather. If you go from the feather descending, you got to try to reach the feather. It'll never come into your palm. But if you put your just palm out, the feather can lightly touch the palm. Same thing with the subtlety of spirit. Very good, Bruce. Okay. Hi, Janine. Janine Simmons. Hi. What does it mean when I can see a rainbow starburst or giant crystals behind certain people? Oh, that's great. So, Janine, that is what my interpretation, because there are different interpretations. You're seeing the auric field, and it could be different things. So, to me, it's joyful and happiness when there's rainbow. There's a sense of exhilaration, if you will, excitement. So that, to me, sweetheart, would need to be. You should definitely take the course because it's definitely a sign that there's a raw amount of clairvoyance for you in seeing the auric field, but we want to hone it in now. Now, what does that mean? Now, what kind of colors were they? Were they on the right side? Were they on the left side? What did you feel when you saw this emotionally? So a lot of different things to unpack with that, but it's a good thing you see that. Very good thing. Okay. Mandy Mitchell. Hi, Mandy. Great name, Mandy Mitchell. I've signed up for the healing course, but how does the call take place? Zoom. You Zoom, and you get directions, sweetheart. We email you directions, so you'll be getting directions tomorrow for sure. Either late today or tomorrow for the call. Okay, let's see. Jean. Hi, Jean. I'm not sure what time. My brain is telling me 9:23 a.m. Thank you so much. Love and light. Peace. For the call is at 4 o'clock, California time. That's right. 4 o'clock California time for the call. Okay, there you go, Gene. We got you. We got you covered. Karen Sanders. Hi, Karen. Very pretty. James, I heard people talking upstairs. Oh, we already did that one. Thanks, Renee. We did that already. Thank you. Renee's back there trying to figure out all the questions. Okay. Teresa. Hi, Teresa Thompson. I have learned a lot from you, James. Thank you, Teresa. I know. I think we met somewhere, didn't we also? Or was it just here? We did. I have some of your books. Thank you very much. Thanks, Teresa. Kim, hi Kim, good to see you again. It's so funny, good to see you again. I know the name, so I remember you. Everyone. As I watched the ending of the Queen's funeral, it seemed very heavy energy. It was really weighing on Charles. I was wondering what you observed as the energy in general in the city of London and Windsor. That's interesting, Kim. That's a great question. I haven't seen the full thing yet because I have puppies. So as I was watching just a little bit, I'm just on YouTube, really. I just noticed, really, it's so overwhelming, isn't it? It's just so over the top, overwhelming. No matter what you think of the whole monarchy and the whole thing, it's just overwhelming. And I think she was a great lady. I really think that someone can endure that long, 70 years in the throne and having to live a certain way, boy, and talk about in a box. That's a hard life. To me, it's a very, very difficult life. Queen Victoria came through Leslie Flint, the medium Leslie Flint, and you can actually hear Queen Victoria speak through Leslie Flint, and you'll hear her voice. If you go to Leslie Flint, I think it's leslieflint.com, and you can hear Queen Victoria about her and Albert, her great love of her life. And she talks about how, it was all just, it was the way it was in those days. She said, you had to be a certain way. It's not who I am, but it was a certain way that they expected of me. And it's funny, because when I was shaving, and I was just had watched that funeral thing, just a little bit of the procession. And I felt that, I just know that when the Queen passed over to the other realms, and they were they were very into spiritualism, the whole royal family for generations. Healers, the best healers in the world, readers. I was going to read Princess Diana before she passed away in that September. I was supposed to go over there in August, and another person was too. There were 3 people warned about Paris, but I was supposed to go over there. But anyway, they were very into spiritual. And Charles, a healer, by the way, a well-known healer. So there's an inner circle of all of this. And I know that the Queen was ready to go, and I could just hear her just say, "Oh, I'm done. I'm done now. Capricorn rising, Taurus, I'm done." And I thought very interesting. There's a video of her standing in the room where she's meeting someone, and there was a last video of her, and she stands there, and this gentleman come in who are soldiers. They come in and she goes, "Hello, I'm here, I'm here." And they were going, "How are you?" And she said, "Well, I obviously can't move. She couldn't walk." So I think it was time to. I think she knows what's that, and just think of how long she's been. All of her family's passed over. Anyway, it was interesting to watch the whole thing, the dynamic. I think that the people that are lined up for days just to go buy a box, which who knows what's inside the box, if she's there or not, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she sold Belmora or part of her. I don't know. Maybe she was cremated. Who knows? I don't know. I just think the ceremony was beautifully done. I mean, it was just so incredibly done. I love the precision of things. Boy, it's really amazing. No one does it like the Brits, I'll tell you. Pretty incredible. I felt Charles for a couple of days when I was observing him on television. You could tell the poor guy. He has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Of course he does, and the weight of the world on his shoulders. And it's just an interesting thing to observe. I'm all about observation, so I'm observing it. Like you're talking about Kim, I'm observing everything going on there as I'm watching that procession, and I'm just watching the precision. I thought the precision of this, I don't call them soldiers, military from all over the Commonwealth. I mean, which it's to me, it's just pretty. That was incredible. I have mixed views on a monarchy. I think it's archaic in some ways. I don't know. I think it's lovely to have, but I have different views on it. I just think it's I love the ritual. I always love ritual, but yeah. One thing I want to tell you when I was with the Queen thing. I've had other celebrities come through to me, like Lucille Ball once came through to me in my rose garden. She just appeared to me, and also Marilyn Monroe and a lot of different celebrities have come through. But I remember Lucy when she came through. The first thing she said was, she goes, James, and she said, she didn't know me. I didn't know her in the physical. She said, I was really sent down to be a healer. I healed people through comedy. That makes sense. And she said, I wasn't what people made me to be. I was just myself. And I think the Queen also had that sense when she passed out of the physical, that that was just her character there. That's not who she is. That's what she had to do. And of course, there's Carmen, there's lineage and so forth, but her soul had to go through that, but that's not who she is per se. That's what she had to do there. So it's interesting, isn't it? Very good, Kim. Christine, hi, James. I'm curious. Good. I love being curious. We got to be curious because that's how we start searching and asking questions. When super religious souls cross over and go to a level with like-minded religious spirits, very good, Kristen. Do they understand that other souls still go to heaven, not hell? Is communication between souls in these different levels still possible? So, Kristen, a great question. Very smart. And so think of it really in terms of this earth. So you have people on this earth that are all different levels of awareness and mindsets, right? So you have just in America, you have the Democrats, Republicans. My God, sort of extremes. And to me, I think it's horrendous that they're busing people to different cities because they're making people political pawns, which I think is outrageous that they're doing that. That's just wrong to do that. They should it's wrong. It's the same thing here on the earth. We have people that believe a certain way, and they're locked in their belief system. They're extremists. In this country, but other countries, they're extremists. They're extremists from religions, they're extreme belief system, they're extremists. So how can you force them? You can't force them. So again, I'm going back to the Leslie Flint tapes, which is really great. There's a lady there. You can also hear this on the site. And I was actually at one of these seances where this happened, a very similar thing happened. And we're talking, and this lady comes in who's very religious. They called her Salvation Army Annie. And she came in and she said, you're all doing the devil's work here. You do the devil's work. And the guide spoke over her, and she was unaware that the guide was speaking over her. And he said, he is the British. He said, you must understand, this is a soul at another level that doesn't really have an open mind, but is set on that level. That's what you say. And it was really interesting because there are all different places, spaces where you put your mind. So there are people that, for whatever they believe this certain way. To me, I feel sorry for that. Why do I feel sorry for that? Me personally, I think it's very limiting, and I think God is limitless. But I don't know why humans put themselves in boxes. I think there's maybe security in those boxes, and they have to feel secure because it's all fear-based. Remember, there's only love or fear. That's all there is. There's nothing else. So limiting belief systems, it's fear-based usually. Usually it's fear-based. When they're limited, when they're extremists, it's insecurity, it's fear. And that's sad because fear is only human emotion. It's not spirit. So it's interesting. So can they go to those that are above in the higher levels of the higher realms, if you will, can speak to those in other realms or lower, I don't say lower and higher, but more, let's say graduates can go down to the grade schools and speak to them. But the grade schools can't go higher, not unless they've earned it, right? And they have to earn it by their or being aware, opening up their minds and so forth. And so that's my understanding of it. But I think it's great. I think Kristen again will say, I love your beginning. I'm curious. Again, a curious mind is the way you grow. I think it's fantastic. I think the next step is also when we grow and become curious, we can be judgmental, because once we become judgmental, we're again limiting the mind. We're limiting the mind. And when we become judgmental, it's out of fear. Judgment is fear-based. I feel better then because I'm judging them because I want to feel better then. I want to feel more secure or whatever it might be, more control. So that's the judgment. So good question. Thanks, Kristen. Hi, Ginny. Question. I thought so. I've been regularly meditating. Okay. I'm beginning to notice hearing sound bites, like parts of conversations that are not where I am. Well, it's where you are, but not physically. Yeah. It stops me in my tracks. I'm wondering if sitting in silence is beginning to unlock my past traumas, my ability to be. Yes. No doubt about it, Jenny. No doubt about it. So you're going to, once you sit again in the, when we say meditation, sitting meditating, that's fine. But again, I think you'll have much more of an advancement and expansion if you put yourself on a regular basis of sitting 15 minutes a day in the quiet. And I sit in my walk-in closet right here. And my office is, it used to be a master bedroom. I turned it into an office. And there's a walk-in closet, and it's small. And I just sit there and I just sit 15, 20 minutes when I don't have the puppies here. And I really start to begin aware of the spaces above you and around you, not here, the physical, but all around you. And remember, there's no time and place. So your soul is emerging, layers are coming off, old traumas will come off, things will start to emerge, and stuff you've been holding on to that you thought were who you are starts leaving you because it's not who you are, but think you are. Yeah, so keep on keeping on. Best thing you can do. Good work, Jenny. Okay. Hi, Lisa. I would love your eyes. That's great. After someone passes and you deal with things, why does time seem so fluid? When someone passes and you deal with things, why does time feel so fluid? It really depends. Like everyone is different, so everyone's passing is very, very different, right? So it all depends on the situation, their belief system, and also those left behind. By the way, the more accepting someone is, the more open they are, the easier it is to transition for everybody. A friend of mine called me this summer and said, "Oh, we lost my grandson, he completed suicide." And I told her that probably when this child was born, there might be some issues. But the people were so advanced, aware, I'll say it that way, aware, the whole family was, and been through some traumas of losing people. But they're very aware that there's no death. And it was just this, all to go through this and go through that. Humans make it so much more than it needs to be. It's so simple, but we got to make it so complex. We try to make the simplistic, the complexity of the simplicity is really what it is. Okay. Scott, hi, Scott. When we pass over, do we remember all of our past lives? Indeed, you do. Yes, sir. You certainly do. Jenny, thank you. Very welcome. Sue, hi, Sue. Wish you could come to Ohio, James. I hope. Thanks, Sue. Appreciate it. I wish I could too, but I have puppies now, so they take up my time. I'm a dedicated daddy, and they give so much. Hi, Joe. Nice to catch you today, James. Yay. When someone has been gone a long time, do they move through different realms? Good question. That take them further from you, or are they always just a thought away? My dad died at age 47. Good question, Joe. So I'm going to say this to you. And of course, I won't know until I pass over. You won't know until you pass over. My understanding is that there is no time and that they can be in several places at once. So they'd be still connected to you in many ways because you're part of their soul group and they just don't leave. So we can't think of them kind of in human terms. We go to, God, it's over. Talk about the funeral today and the procession. It's overwhelming when you pass out of this physical world and it's just so all encompassing on the other side. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning about the other side saying, we just can't describe it because the human is so limiting. This three-dimensional world is so limited because the 6 or 7 dimensions is so expansive. And to express that in a human way, it's hard. And the only thing that we can do that would really be connecting those is love. Love is that energy, incredible love Love is the element, the energy that exists in all those dimensions. Uh, that's all I can say is that, and love of, whether it's love of everything, love of colors, love of shapes, love of people, love of belief systems, love of opinions, love about all these different things, is really the wonderment. I guess it would be. I'd say the wonderment of many things is how I think it would be. I try to find heaven on earth in that. I try to find the wonderment in every little thing, whether it's walking down the garden path, whether it's a tree, whether I'm in the parking lot, whether I'm in a rehabilitation house visiting a friend of mine. It's all different types of experiences you see. And you say God. God is an energy. God is a perfect divine energy. That's in everything. It's not a man with a white beard. That's the human interpretation. God is the energy of all. And trying to see that every day and everyone you can is incredible. I had something this weekend. I went to Trader Joe's to get some flowers for a friend at my rehabilitation place. Is visiting her, and a funny thing happened. I'm backing up. I got a truck for the doggies, and I still haven't gotten yet used to parking this thing. It's not that big, but I had to do a parallel park. And San Diego parking spaces are really too narrow. So I thought, oh, I got to pull this out and straighten out my car. But before I could, the car next to me did exactly that. They pulled out and then went back straight in. And I got in my truck and said to the lady next to me, "Thank you for doing that. I was going to do the same thing. Thank you for doing that. That's great." It's so small, these spaces. And she goes, "Yes, thank you. You're welcome." She goes, "I recognize you. You're on TV." I said, "Yes." So it was funny. She goes, "Well, thank you for the work you do." So you never know when you have influence of someone there. And it was just great. And I went to Trader Joe's, and people are just, when you're light and bright, people like to have that, and you share that with people. So it works. Okay. Thanks, Joe. Christy, hi, Christy. Oh, lovely photo. My father just passed. I'm sorry to hear that lovely loss. I actually prayed for him to go because he was suffering. Good for you. Good. Do you feel that he would be upset with me? No, quite the opposite. Happy that you did that, that released him. So many times spirit need their family to release them. My father had to have that happen with us. Myself and my siblings had to say it's okay to go, because sometimes they feel responsibility and they don't want to upset anybody. But it's the right thing to do. I think it's great to let people release people. Even I don't believe in suffering. I don't think there's any need for suffering. I just don't. There are some situations where souls will stay in a certain condition, and that is so that other souls can learn about. Well, maybe that soul needs to be learn about receiving. Maybe their whole life they gave, and they got to learn to receive. So maybe there's a reason why that condition happening. But I don't believe suffering that's necessary. I think the compassionate thing to do is to release the soul out of that body that's no longer functioning. That's my idea. I know it's my time. I'm going bye bye, because I don't feel that it's right to suffer. I don't believe it. So I think you do the right thing. Personally, I do. Thanks, Christy. Stitch, I saw your name, Stitch. I love that. That's a character, right? Hi. How can I help my mom? She passed 3 years ago. Okay. I got an Akashic reading. I asked how she was. She said, "My mom passed this earth plane, but stuck on another plane." Is there air traffic control problems? I understand. How can I help, and how can I know when? Well, number one, you don't have to worry about your mother. Number one. And whoever told you she's stuck doesn't know what they're talking about. So there we go, ignorance again, and there you go with someone who's irresponsible, and that's just wrong. So no one gets stuck. Trust me. The intelligence of that world won't be stuck. Your mother's fine, and if you overthink it, it's going to cause problems with you. So just relax and really just breathe into it, and just know that she's around you, because she is, and just feel her and feel her love. Don't go to the fear part. Feel her love. Love never dies. Feel her love for you, and you'll get messages. So do that, and don't go in panic mode and trauma. And throw that person's number away. That person who gave that reading, don't like them. Okay, sorry, but it's true. Hi, Angela. I often find coins and notes. Yes, another sign of love. Yes, very much so, Angela. I've been finding pennies and dimes and quarters. I'm waiting for dollar bills. Haven't found that yet. Yes, I don't know how they do that, but they do that. And how they can make that happen, materialize, and move things. They do that. I was just talking to a friend of mine an hour ago, And we're talking about things and manifestations of things. And I said, well, I was in Ireland once, and I do believe in different life forms and different levels, and in gnomes and garden elves and everything. I believe in the Diva Kingdom and so forth. Because when I was in Ireland, I had an experience with leprechauns. Now I'm a little bit of a leprechaun, obviously, but it was really interesting because I had my money there, the pound notes, and I remember it was because it's foreign money to me. I was in Ireland, and I wrapped them up in a rubber band, and I put it in my top drawer next to my socks, so I always knew where it was. I did a workshop, came back that late afternoon, and I said about some supper, so I went to find the money, and it was not in the drawer, and I looked everywhere, I couldn't find it. And then I put my shoes, took my shoes off, and I bent down underneath the bed, in the middle of the bed on the floor was rolled up dollars. No, or pounds, pound notes. So that's interesting. So yes, things do exist, and they do create those things. We'll do one more, and then we'll move on. Okay, Sharon, where can one send physical pain to release it from your body? Can energy from the other side help free us from a physical pain? Thanks a lot. Well, Sharon, first you have to do it yourself. So that's why the healing course is really, really important. And that's something here is an opportunity for you to look at that and go within and be responsible for what's happening within your life, and really taking the responsibility to do something about it. So they can only help you if you help yourself. My mother used to say, God helps those who help themselves. And I was raised that way. It's very, very true. They will help you as long as you take the steps necessary. So spiritual healing course, certification course, there it is right there. It starts Wednesday, September 21st, call number 1. So you can go to JP School of Mystical Arts to sign up, or go to vampprog.com. But School of Mystical Arts is the best one. There it is right there. Renee put it under my name in the comments. That's the link. And I would do that, sweetheart. I think that you really have to start going within yourself and seeing what's causing the pain, because it comes from different levels of different experiences, perhaps trauma you went through in your life. It's really what comes out of. So we have to learn from something from it, and acknowledge it and do something with that. So best of luck. And I hope you all will join me in the course, and also join me tonight for the show, Both Sit Down with Janelle. So thank you, everybody, and God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.